Welcome to every movie that I've ever seen, and today I'm going to be talking about Evil Dead. This is the 2013 remake, reboot thing for Evil Dead. Now, this wasn't directed by Sam Raimi. He may have been a producer on it. I'm not exactly sure. Don't quote me on it. But this wasn't directed by him, and it's sort of a remake of the Evil Dead. Well, yeah, it's sort of a remake of The Evil Dead. This is just titled Evil Dead. It's a remake. It's kind of a remake of The Evil Dead, and still somewhat like loosely a continuation, existing in the same universe. I don't know, because you get the little cameo post credits. I don't exactly know how this whole movie fits in within the Evil Dead universe, or if they even care about this movie or have any plans of addressing it anymore. I know at one point they were going to make an Army of Darkness 2, and then they would make an Evil Dead 7, which would cross over the storylines of Ash and Mia. But I don't think that's going to happen anymore, and I think Bruce Campbell is done with the role of Ash after the show Ash vs. Evil Dead. I know they are making a fifth movie, I don't know, Evil Dead Rise. I don't know, Sam Raimi isn't directing that, he is producing, Bruce Campbell is producing, but anyway, a couple years ago I did start and I went through the three Evil Dead movies, and I did really enjoy them. I really enjoyed it watching them back to back, kind of marathoning them, because they really flow well into each other. Maybe a little bit to a detriment of the other films, because you honestly, in my opinion, don't really need to watch The Evil Dead to understand Evil Dead 2. I mean, like, I feel like the first 15 minutes of Evil Dead 2 are just the first Evil Dead. But this movie is interesting, and it's an odd choice to do this, because with the Evil Dead, it's such a good movie, and it started the cabin in the woods thing, which now you've done so many times in horror movies, and there's been a horror movie named Cabin in the Woods, you know, kind of addressing how often this has been done in horror movies. So it feels strange for Evil Dead to remake itself when so many other movies are already kind of remaking itself. Like, it would feel odd to put out another Jaws movie, to remake the first Jaws, when there have been billions of other shark movies after that. So this movie, you know, it's all right. You know, it's okay. If you look at it as just a random cabin in the woods movie, then it's fine. You know, it's scary, somewhat interesting plot, I suppose. Characters are okay, but it's not just any random Cabin in the Woods movie. It's a remake of the Cabin in the Woods movie, The Evil Dead. So you almost automatically have to hold it up to a higher standard. And since it wasn't Sam Raimi directing it, I mean, he may have produced, I think it was Fede Alvarez directing it. If he just wanted to make a Cabin in the Woods movie, he should have just made a Cabin in the Woods movie, called it whatever, and there's your story. You know, change it around a little bit so it's not so much Evil Dead. I mean, obviously he can't find a Book of the Dead in the cabin. You know, find something else, and you know that triggers events, and you got this movie. But it just doesn't. It's a weird thing to remake it, because I get with like Ghostbusters, people didn't really like the 2016 Ghostbusters. Say, well, just make a different movie. Don't call it Ghostbusters, but it can still be, you know, people fighting ghosts. But you make a movie of people fighting ghosts, you're going to get those comparisons to Ghostbusters anyway, so you might as well get the name recognition of Ghostbusters when you make it. But there have been so many Cabin in the Woods movies that it wouldn't really matter if you make another one. because people aren't going like, oh, this is too much like Evil Dead. People are going to go, oh, this is another Cabin in the Woods movie. I feel like I've said Cabin in the Woods like 15 billion times. I'm not talking about that movie. I'm talking about Evil Dead, which was okay. I would... Now, being a somewhat fan of the Evil Dead franchise, having seen the first 3 movies, this one, and maybe all of the first season of the TV show, I would be interested in seeing if this were to ever, connect with the main storyline, so to speak. But, yeah. It was okay. An odd decision to make this movie. I remember the campaign for this movie being pretty neat, calling it the most terrifying movie you will ever experience, which I didn't really get that. That was 2016's The Witch, but that's all I got to say for 2013's Evil Dead.